We're going to give it a couple of minutes and let some more people get in. We had like 80 people register. And then we'll dive in because I know it'll probably go like an hour, 10 minutes, and then we'll have questions and all that. And we're not keeping attendance. So if you want to pop off, you can without feeling guilty about it. Is that all right?
Perfect.
Good, good, good. So how many of you guys have passed your test already?
I did.
Congrats. That's
How many of y'all were about to pass your test already?
Yes.
Good. Crazy. We'll go a little bit longer and then get started.
Awesome. Look at all these friends joining.
Oh, it's awesome. I wish we could see like all of them, like Tony Robbins does it.
Those are pretty legit.
Yeah. Hey, Leslie, you making any progress with Tim and Amber?
Yeah. Yes,
Good.
yeah. We've got comps pulled and
Hello, hello.
are moving along.
Good.
Yes.
Is everybody in Austin?
Yep.
Yes.
I am in Liberty Hill.
Liberty Hill is close.
Okay.
Friendly neighbor. Is anybody like originally from Austin?
Yes.
I am.
Ooh.
Oh, two of you.
Cool.
Cool.
Awesome.
That's about what it is now too. A couple out of a bunch.
Yeah.
Let's give it another couple of minutes and then we'll start rolling.
This is awesome.
I know, this is totally cool. I love it. Hello, hello. I like seeing y'all's faces. That's good. We can start rolling. I mean, we're a couple minutes here. My name's Clay Burney. I'm going to take my hat off since I'll be doing all the talking. You'll know who I am. I'm with Burney Real Estate Group. I'm going to put this, I have a slideshow here. Just more to keep me grounded because once I get talking, there's no telling where I'm going to go. So I'm going to stick it up here and you'll be able to see us. We're going to have you muted but there's a chat box at the bottom. If you want to like post some questions up, we're going to have plenty of time at the end to go through some questions and things like that. And also, if you want to have a private conversation later through the Burney Careers link at the bottom, you'll see that in a minute. Just click on there and reserve a time and we'll talk with you about anything you want to talk about real estate, right? It's not just about coming on to the team. It's just anything. And I'll tell you why we want to do that in a minute. Let me figure out how to share this and then let's boogie. Y'all see is it just what you need to see then?
Yes.
Right. I'm still learning this technology bit, y'all. Okay, so I can't see y'all, which is probably healthier. The thing, so what we're going to talk about today is like leads, how to get leads, how to earn trust, and how to provide an exceptional experience. So basically, like all the stuff they don't teach you in the classes, they teach you in the classes like things not to do so you don't get fined or end up in jail or lose your license and a bunch of like financial calculations. I don't understand why they do that, but they do. And so I remember coming out, like I didn't know what to do, right? And this was in 1997 when life was a little bit easier than it is now. So we want to teach you some of the basics. And these basics, like there's a lot of kind of cross-pollination of ideas and suggestions, fundamentals, basically. And we're just going to kind of touch like just like the tip of the iceberg of each one, and each one you can go a lot deeper in. But the good news is like that to get started, it's real basic and the steps are super easy. In fact, they're so easy and so important that we still do them today, and we practice them at a real high level 24, 25 years into this. So let me advance to the next page. So we call our teammates, we call them savages. Kayla came up with that. Basically, it's like, do they have like a good heart? Are you willing to work hard? And are you trainable and coachable, right? You have good leadership skills. So I'm going to introduce the savages. There's me. I've been doing this for 24 years. I'm basically from Austin. I mostly love this all the time. We have Stephanie, Kayla, Leslie, and Ryan with us today, and I'll let them say hi. Steph, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Stephanie. I'm the director of operations for the team. I've been on this team for over 6 years now. I've been in Austin for 7, and loving every minute of it.
Nice.
Yes, and we love you on the team.
Oh,
Yes.
Stephanie makes all the things go.
I do all the things.
Yeah.
From the office, from the cockpit.
Yeah, the behind the scenes is Stephanie's. That's her domain. We're lucky to have you. Leslie, I got you next on the screen.
So my name's Leslie. I am the senior buyer specialist for Bernie Real Estate Group, and I am originally from South Texas. I have been in Central Texas for almost 5 years, and I love real estate and love this team like family.
Yeah, we're lucky to get you here too. Everybody on this team. Kayla, you're next.
She's a hustler. We're all hustlers. Hi, everyone. I'm Kayla. I started with Bernie Real Estate Group in December of 2018, so a little while ago, and that was an opportunity for me to join a great team with Clay and Stephanie and join Keller Williams and just get my feet wet in the real estate industry. And initially I started out as the TC doing like the foundational transactional type of work and seeing what, how that client relationship evolves from inception, whenever the listing agreement is signed and you just meet that client, to contract and close. And so from that point, I've just used it as a learning opportunity. And now I do inside sales as well as a recruiting for the team.
Yes, and you're amazing. And the new guy, Ryan, are you there?
Oh yeah, I'm right here. Hey guys, my name's Ryan Matthias. I am the new member of the team. I am the inside sales associate. It was an easy decision for me to select this group of individuals just based off Clay's leadership and just the camaraderie of everybody and the mindset. It's been absolutely amazing. So just ready to get started.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Leslie, actually, I think you said this, started in that role and then she just graduated out and she's already like clobbering it. So here's the deal, guys. When you get your real estate license, there's so many different ways you can get involved in the real estate world, right? And we just decided this is how we were going to do it. And it's, we all work full time. Yeah. And then some, so like, because it's intense sometimes and you'll learn that. We'll talk about that a little bit. But just because this is how we're doing it doesn't mean this is how you have to do it, right? You just have to figure out what you want and what's important to you and then just go get it, right? So some of you are just now joining us. Just we're gonna everybody on mute because there's a bunch of you, and then at the end there's gonna be plenty of time for questions. If you have anything that you really want to talk about, just click on the chat below in the Zoom thing, and stick your question up there. And Stephanie and Kayla are watching that also, so if they can, they might be able to answer some of your questions along the way. So the goals for tonight or this evening are easy. The most important, so number one, obviously, is like we want to teach you how to make some money, right? Just the basic steps to get going so you can sell some houses and serve some families. One of the things that's important about what we want to do with you, kind of our mission, is we like to train you on how to be an excellent agent, because I got to tell you, from our perspective, doing a deal with an excellent agent on the other side is so much easier. It's so much smoother, better, easier than somebody who's just kind of like figuring it out, winging it, whatever. So that's the primary goal. So, and we're going to talk about that, like professionalism, exceeding expectations and providing a like extraordinary experience for your clients and the other people around you, and why that's so important. Because other than what I just said, it's so important, especially in this era of like 10, 15, 20, 30 offers on a single piece of property, right? It matters who you are and how you present yourself. Even as the agent, it's not just about the buyer. And we'll talk more about that, or the seller. And the second thing, and this is a little bit, this is less important, we are hiring. And if you want to have a further conversation about that, just schedule a time and the Bernie-Careers link there at the bottom. We're not pushy. We're just like, we're there to explore it with you if it's a good fit or not. All right. So let's move on. All right. So tonight we're going to talk about, number one, how to find leads. Number two, how to earn their trust. And number three, overwhelming them with exceptional experience. And actually, we're gonna flip that though. So I think that if you start with the end in mind, the rest of it's really easy. So I'm just gonna give you some pointers on how to overwhelm your clients, agents, lenders, title companies, all these people with exceptional experience, and why that's important to you. In fact, we're gonna go to that next, why that's important to you. And this is, you know, at Bernie Real Estate Group, our mission is to like provide this extraordinary experience to our clients. In fact, we have it written out. I just don't ever remember it. And like honor their trust with the integrity they deserve, and with their while we're helping them with their buying and selling experience. We literally ask for people referrals like 15 times throughout the transaction, and it's because it creates a high level of accountability on both sides of it, right? And by doing that, we create this like extraordinary experience where we always get referrals from our clients. Guys, we get like 66% of our business is from repeat and referral clients. And what's beautiful about that, especially, well, anytime, is that referrals are free, right? And and free referrals is an amazing thing, because you will find in this business, it's really easy to spend a lot of money and not get a lot in return. But referrals is also a validation that you're doing an excellent job. And that's part of, and that's number three is like fulfillment in your profession, right? It feels really good to get validated when somebody says, here's this really qualified person. I know you're going to take great care of them. Go do your job at a high level, right? Because it's easy to do. So we're going to talk about a little bit about that right now. The second thing that when you have a professional demeanor about you and you present well, you know what you're talking about, you're reliable, dependable, you're on time, you can explain things clearly and succinctly to your clients and to the other agents, is that agents will want to work with you. And that is super critical, because it matters when you're, again, I just talked about, when you're competing against other offers. If you're an excellent agent, or you're known to, or you have a really good reputation, or you've been around, that doesn't matter here, but like people know that your clients will fulfill what they're saying they're going to fulfill without a bunch of monkey business and bait and switch and things like that. Agents will select your offer over other offers that may be higher in price. Okay. So start in the very beginning, just operate from a high level of integrity, right? Be professional, learn as you can, learn as much as you can as you go along. Don't be overwhelmed by the things that you don't know, because there's tons of people around that can help you out. All right. And I know I get talking really fast. I'm sorry about that. I get excited. I've had a couple of espressos. But hopefully all this is making sense. All right. So something that's kind of fun to do, and I do this to my team all the time. I don't know if they like it or not, but I want to know how they're feeling. And if I want them to like reach into an experience that they had in the past and think about what that meant to you. Right. So think about a time you had an exceptional experience, and it could be like, for some people, it's just like walking into Starbucks and they know your name and they say, hello, Clay, when you walk in, right? Some people, it's Disney or on a cruise or like some kind of trip or vacation. There's something where everything just went perfectly. All your needs were anticipated, right? They remembered your name. You felt like they were listening to you. You felt like you were their number one person in the world, right? Hopefully you've had some kind of experience like that in your life. You've probably bragged about it to some people. Like, I can't believe how amazing these people were. I can't believe about this amazing trip I just took. Can't believe about this amazing cup of Joe I just got, right? So just think about that, and think about like how validating and rewarding and like how important you felt at the time, right? So that's the kind of experience you should be aiming to provide throughout every transaction you have. I hear my dog barking. That's awesome. The isn't working from home a treat, really. So you want to be so you want to be thinking about that, right? One of the so let's get into a little bit of like the mechanics of providing an exceptional service. It's not complicated. And fact number 4 is keep it simple. What I would recommend, like with everything in life, like massive communication is the key to getting through any transaction. Some of these real estate transactions can be kind of complex, a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of people involved in them. There's something, I don't remember the number, but Texas A&M did a study of this like a decade ago. The number of people that get paid on a single real estate transaction, it's like 60 something, right? And I couldn't even name them all. Like there's appraisers and lenders and termite people and home inspectors and septic inspectors and real estate agents and compliance directors and the team brokers and like IRS, like everybody gets paid on these things. This is why like we still have this career, because it keeps the economy running. So I don't know where I was going with that. Anyways, so you want to have like this massive communication, right? Because you've got to keep everybody clued into what's going on. And you're not going to know all the stuff in the beginning, right? You're not going to know why some of these things matter. You're not going to know what's next, but you're going to know people that you can ask that can help guide you through this process, okay? And if you're just communicating all the time with like, this is what's going on, this is why, this is what to expect next, you're gonna have a very smooth transaction. And like the fewer the surprises that you have, the much happier everybody's gonna be. Because a surprise when something's about to close is not fun. Surprises are never good. No, they're never good. So by overwhelming people with communication, and only twice have we heard that we communicate too much. So if you think you're over communicating, but nobody's told you that, you're not over communicating, okay? Twice. One of them was just an automatic email thing. The other one was we were over communicating. We even got a review for it. Leslie. The second thing is ask questions, right? You got 2 ears, 1 mouth. I'm not doing that with you guys right now because this is the nature of the presentation. But generally, you want to ask a bunch of questions. What happens when you ask questions constantly to your client or somebody that you want to become your client is they feel like they're the most important person in the world, right? You're asking them about them. You're getting feedback from them. You're repeating it so that they understand that you're listening to them, right? You're making them feel important. That is what this is, primarily what this is all about. So you want to ask questions constantly. They'll remember that. Very few of us ever feel heard throughout the day, especially if you have kids and you're married, right? Just kidding. Kind of. So like you want to be heard, right? You want to be felt, and that's what that is. That's what that allows you to do, to be that person that's making their day and making them feel like the number 1 person in the world. And they are the number 1 person in your world. So you don't forget that. Future pace the process. This is a fun one. And as you get more experience, it's a little bit easier. But you just tell people, hey, we just met. You're going to sign this agreement. As soon as you sign this agreement, you're going to get pre-approved. You're going to get pre-approved. We're going to go shopping. You're going to shopping. You're going to make offers. These things are going to happen. And you do that every step of the way. This is the next step. These are the next couple steps. And you repeat that all the way through, all the way down the line till you get into the closing. And you get into the closing, you've been future pacing so well, you're going to say, all right, where's my referral? And they're going to give you a referral. And then you're going to go on to your next project, right? So when you're future pacing it like that, you're providing exceptional experience to people. You're giving them like reasons, like they're just leaning in, waiting for you to tell them like what to do next, right? That's what you're there to do, right? And then when you sprinkle in, hey, we're doing a great job, aren't we? Yeah, you are. I'm going to ask you for a referral at the end of this. Are you okay if I check in on this every once in a while? Because I want you to be ready. Because if I get to the end of this and you don't have a referral, I'm going to feel like I did something wrong, right? And so if I did something wrong, I need to know before we get to that point, right? So you get to check in constantly on that. And you'll get more than 1 referral from somebody when you're doing that. This is not supposed to be about referrals, but if you want to make money and you don't want to spend a ton of money to make the money, this is the only way to do it. Anyways, and then keep it simple. Hopefully this isn't so overwhelming that keeping it simple sounds like a joke. It's not. All right. So more about providing the exceptional experience. And this is where I was talking earlier in the beginning about some of these fundamentals are like kind of cross-pollinated all the way across, like on everything you do. This is where that starts to sprinkle in. Actually, all of that. You always want to be communicative. Market knowledge. So we're going to talk about how to get market knowledge, transactional knowledge. You know what, in this phase of your career, transactional knowledge, it's hard to do. But what you can do about that is surround yourself by people that do know and that want to help you. Okay. Transactional knowledge is like the start of a transaction, the start of a listing, what to expect, right? That future pacing part, what's next. And since in the beginning, it's kind of hard to know those things. I don't care how much you study, it's just kind of hard to know once you get in the real world. Surround yourself, like your broker is a great resource. A title company is a great resource. Lenders are a great resource. I've even had some inspectors give me advice on some stuff. You know, and then of course, other real estate agents, right? They're happy to help you. And the best way to get people to help you is to like help them with something too, right? So it's a symbiotic relationship. You want to keep things like on an even playing field, like give and take, right? So surround yourself and just interview people. Hey, I'm expecting to do this, or this is what I want my niche to be. We'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. How can you help me? How can I help you? Right? Does that make sense? Yes. I'll just assume you're all nodding your head. Yes. Transactional knowledge, vendor knowledge. So vendor knowledge is great because like the whole point of you being like this amazing real estate agent, providing this exceptional experience, earning their trust, finding these leads, getting all these referrals is like you're their one-stop shop for everything related to the kind of real estate you want to do. So if you're a residential real estate agent and you want to sell 1 million houses in your lifetime, you need to have a team that's going to be able to service that, right? So you're going to need like stagers and sheetrock and painters and tile and carpet, furniture and roof and chimney and like all these things, right? And you're going to put that together over time. And people like to get in our list, they have to do good work. They have to charge a fair price. They got to stand behind their work, right? It's that simple. And fortunately, there's enough of those people out there. A lot of us will share who that is. But when you become that person that people can call, even well after the closing, hey, I want to add an addition. Good, call this architect, right? And more on that, people will start to ask you like, is it a good idea? Does this add value to my property? I'm going to sell. Well, when are you going to sell? Like, I'm going to sell in 5 years. Then you can start talking them through things like that. You're that person. They'll call you before they call their CPA. They'll call you before they call their lawyer. And what a great time while you're providing them with valuable information. Got a referral for me, right? You turn that part of it into a game. As sad as it is, this number 8 here, be professional. I just would say like mirror who you want to be or who you want to transact business with. So we've had some pretty interesting ones in our career, but just dress cleanly, the more professional, the better. Austin's a little more laid back, but I think that's changing a little bit. Watch your language, know your grammar, have integrity, take a bath, comb your hair, things like that. It's really weird. I have to tell people to take a bath, but it's true. I have to suggest it, not tell it. So actually, there's some more things, but this providing exceptional experience, you're going to hear this a little bit later on, but like, how do people experience you, right? That's what you want, that you want to present yourself in such a manner that people want to be around you and they want to do business with you and they trust you. Speaking of trust, let's talk about trust. So that was, let me back up for a second. That's the overwhelming experience. And like what that all comes down to is you're gonna say and tell like all these things that you're gonna do. The next part of that is execution, and execution is more important than any of the things that you're gonna say. Okay, so whatever it is you're gonna do it all the way, exceed their expectations. Like the minimum standards is like just getting by. Everybody can do minimum standards. You want to blow them away. So, anyways, I'll leave that there. Earn their trust. This is a good one. So remember, we're working backwards, right? So you've met the people, and we'll get to that. That's actually the easiest part of this. It's earning their trust because you got like 30 seconds to do that when you meet somebody. And then after that, it's, overwhelming them with this, like you get to show them what you're capable of, like all the things that you said you were going to do, right? So trust. Real estate is a very relational business. It's very emotional. It's their life savings. It's the biggest investment they're going to make at that time going on right then, right? So that's why when you do a good job, you get rewarded very well in this business currently. So think about like, how do you relate? It's a very relational business. How do you relate? Are you listening? Are you telling? right? There's a difference. Are you paying attention? How do people, are you reliable? You know, as a consumer, like, do I feel like you can actually take, like you have the tools and the, you know, and the strategies to take care of my needs? Do you understand what I'm looking for? Do you understand me, right? So think about it from their shoes. If you bought a house before before you had your license, think about what that experience was like. How would you have liked it to have been better? Everybody has something, right? Do you have a track record of it? You know, you're not going to have a track record of it in real estate, but you're going to have a track record of coming from integrity, being on time, being reliable, doing what you say you're going to do, things like that. That's what people want to know. And they're going to know quickly if you're that person. So if you're not, go be that person and then start standing in front of people talking about real estate. One of the things that's important about communication, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but like only communication when you're, you know, you have your 30 seconds, 7% of what you say actually matters. The words you use only, it's like 7% of the equation, right? And this is like, I'm going to say this is Harvard science research, something, it's something. But this is well regarded. 38% is through the tone of your voice. And actually in our team, when we do our stand-ups, we actually practice, we have scripts, right? We want to practice objections, how you handle objections. In that we practice tones and pauses. I don't pause much, as you can tell, I'm working on it. The tone, like the tones that, you know, you ever talk with somebody and they answer a question and they're like, everything they say sounds like it's a question, right? Doesn't instill a lot of confidence and trust in people. But when you do it with a downstroke, like clean your room, even though my 4-year-old is totally impenetrable, clean your room. Like when you say it down with a downstroke like that, if you sound like an authority, right? So anyways, there's all these little millimeter tricks you can make in your game that will improve your outcome substantially. And then 55% is body language, right? Open up. You know, if I were sitting here closed up talking to you like this would be even more boring than it already is, right? But we're, you know, I can like be engaging. When people come into your open house, stand at the front door, smile, shake their hand, get out of their way, like be subservient to them at the right time, right? When it's time for you to step up and talk to them about what you know, what you're like crystal clear on with your confidence, your education, then it's time to do that, right? Broad shoulders, stand into it. Like watch your body language and practice it. There's a story of a guy, and it's just a story as far as I know, but there's a story of a guy had a great presentation, went into these living rooms of all these people that wanted to sell their house. He was sitting there and he was saying, are you ready to sign your paperwork? Are you ready to do this? Let's go, let's go, let's go. And he always was getting people saying, hey, we're going to think about it. If somebody tells you we're going to think about it, yeah, that's not good, right? But they went back, so he filmed him. So they went back and he filmed like his listing presentation and they like digested it or dissected it, I guess. And they saw that he was shaking his head no at the end, right? So he changed it to shaking his head yes. And it changed his results. And that's that body language thing. He was having a great presentation. He was saying these great words, but he was shaking his head at the end no, like don't do business with me, right? You shake your head yes, like do business with me. People will say that. Try that. Next time you want something for dinner that your partner doesn't want, say, hey, let's have spaghetti. Shake your head yes, you're going to get spaghetti. Like 80% of the time. Am I going too fast? Y'all good? I can't hear y'all because everybody's muted. All right, and we're getting back into the basics here again, right? So you want market knowledge. Let's talk about market knowledge right now because this is really important. The Central Texas is really big, right? And you got property management, you got rentals, you got campus condos, you've got residential homes in like 30,000 different neighborhoods, maybe not that many, but a lot. You know, you've got school districts, you've got like all these factors and things and highways and employers and airports and City of Austin's policies and like all these things, right, that are like affecting everything that's going on. It's impossible to know everything. So in market knowledge, the suggestion I make to you guys is this, and this is important. Like if you're going to go do an open house or you get a client and you got them in your car that's clean and you're smelling good, you look good and everything like that. But before you know when you're going to go do something, you need to have a system in place and it's like some tools like, I'm going to go learn everything I can about this neighborhood that we're looking in, right? Oh, you want to buy this kind of house? I'm going to go preview property. You got to preview property. You sell houses, you preview property. You need to know what's being sold, how big, how new, how many bedrooms, what's the price, how big is a lot, where are the schools? You need to know these things. It's impossible to know the whole city of Austin, but you can narrow it down. And since you're new, you got all kinds of time, right? You can narrow it down and just do one little bit at a time. But figure out like, hey, I got 2 days to go learn a neighborhood. What do you need to do? What do you need to do in 2 days to go learn a neighborhood, right? And then maybe shrink that down to a day, okay? Because you can do a lot of stuff online, but until you get in there and you get a feel for the neighborhood, the trees and the streets and the cars in the street and schools and the crosswalks and where the HEB is and the parks and all those things, like you're not gonna learn that stuff online. You're gonna learn it by driving around, taking a look at houses and seeing what's going on, right? So that's what I'm talking about with market knowledge. Be the pro. If you're gonna do an open house in an area, be the pro. Go learn about all the competition of the open house. And then when people come in, you can have a conversation about that. Now you're the pro. Now they're asking you questions. And then you get to ask them questions about their motivation, right? What are they looking for? So that's what I'm talking about with market knowledge. Transactional knowledge, we're back to this. Again, just surround yourself with people that understand what's gonna happen, all right, in each transaction. Get a good lender, get a good title company, find a broker or a team person or agent or whatever that can walk you through what's gonna happen in transaction. Consumers care less about this than we do. We use it as an opportunity to overwhelm them, to overwhelm them in a good way, to ask for referrals, right? Because that's where we, how we differentiate ourselves. The consumer's just like, hey, I want to buy this house. What do I got to do, right? Or I need to sell my house. What do I got to do? You don't need to talk them through. Well, we got to review the title policy. We're going to get rid of rights of party possession. Like they don't need to know that stuff. They just need to know that you got it. Okay. Vendor knowledge. It's always good to have like your database of people to call on to fix stuff. That's important. You need to know how to fix stuff, and then you're going to learn how much fixing stuff costs, right? And then you'll be able to talk about that. That's super important. Be professional. Do we need to talk about that again? Yeah. Like, guys, I'm not kidding. There was a guy in our office. I have to talk about this because it's so weird to me. There was a guy in our office building, there was a person in our office building that literally smelled like they were sleeping in a street gutter. And but they weren't, but they smelled like it. And I just could not understand, I was just floored that they were just walking around like stinking to high heaven. I couldn't understand it. I still don't understand it. That was 2 years ago. But it's like, I don't want that guy in my office. I don't want him talking to my team, like get out. Like we're not, and that's part of the, like how you present yourself is what we can expect to, like the kind of transaction we can expect to have from you, right? And then being solution-based. This one, this is like with everything in life, right? You don't, like being the person that, being solution-based, especially when you're negotiating through repairs, so say that's a really great time, or you're trying to figure out somebody's needs and wants, right? And what they have and what the spouse wants and what the partner wants, like trying to navigate people through a complex system to get them all to land at the same part takes a lot of conversation, asking questions, coming up with solutions, offering solutions. Options is another word for that. But when you're being solution-based, you're thinking about what's win-win for all parties, all right? That is the easiest way to get through something. What's gonna be good for him? What's gonna be good for her, or him and him, or her, whatever it is now? Like what's good for the lender? What's good for the buyer, the seller? Like how are we gonna get this together where both sides are feeling good about it, right? That's solution-based. Where this probably is the biggest kicker is when you're negotiating in the front and then when you're negotiating repairs, okay? So, and that gets into future pacing. We can get into that later, but that's about like, hey, here's what we're gonna try to do. Here's what might happen, right? And here are some other things that we can try to make happen, but it's gonna land somewhere in this range. If you aim for a specific target, I think when you're negotiating something like that, especially in a market like this where it's a little bit nuts, it's really hard to like hit expectations. So you want to like leave yourself some wiggle room, right? But I call that solution-based because you're finding out what the clients and what the other side is willing to accept and not accept and figure out how it's going to meet meet in the middle, just because I don't know what else to say there. Is that reasonable? That's reasonable. All right. Okay, so this is just like a thing that drives me crazy and something that I emphasize on the team a little bit. Like if you don't know the answer to something, do not make something up. It's too easy to get fact checked. Even if the fact checking is wrong, it's still too easy to get fact checked. So it's a 3-step process, and clients appreciate this more than anything. If they ask you something and you don't know, say, I don't know, right? Don't say it with that attitude I just had. I'm not sure. I'm not sure the answer to that. But I'll tell you what, you want to know about why a pool can't go in right here? I don't know the answer. I'm going to find out, and I'm going to get back to you about why this pool can't go in here by tomorrow afternoon. All right. So you've like heard the objection. And this is a skill that's like, we practice this on everything. Like you've heard the question, you've responded to it, you've repeated it. They feel like the most important person because you repeated it once or twice of what the answer is that they're looking for. And you're going to find it and you're getting back to them and they know when to expect it. Now they don't have to think about it anymore. Does that make sense? Yeah. So you can get them thinking about things that make them happy about the property, right? Yes. All right, I actually just snuck that slide in there because I felt like that was a good thing to help make you a better agent. Bonus tips. This is on the be prepared thing. Apparently I was on a heater about this. Clean your car, dress and smell professionally, preview properties, study the market, be early, overdo their PPE and have extra. So that's new, right? So now we have like hand sanitizer, alcohol wipes, bleach wipes, face masks, booties, gloves, like this whole thing. Just have extra, have a lot of it. If you're out touring with people, have waters, have snacks, right? Most people will drink room temperature water, but room temperature in August is like boiling lava. So you want to have like some ice chest, like an ice chest to put the stuff in. Crackers, just things like that. Because it's exhausting. After like the 6th house people have looked at, like it's all running together. Their blood sugar's low. They're not agreeing on stuff. Like it's a process, right? And you will still show 6, 7, I've shown 22 houses in one day. Like you will still do that even in today when there's 4,000 homes for sale, which is an all-time low. People are swiping left and swiping right more before they decide they want to go do something. But you will still do that. So be prepared. Anyways, be early. It's not their job to be on time. It's not their job to be prepared. It's your job to be prepared and to be early. So never, ever be late. In fact, remind them that you're early in a nice way. Hey, we had an appointment at 5 o'clock. It's 4:58. Can I come in? Yeah, perfect. We're still wrapping something. We're still tidying up the kids' room. No problem. I'll just sit at the kitchen counter, you know? But you want it like that. That's what they expect, right? Because their time is your time. Study the market. We've talked about that, and previewing properties go hand in hand. I'm still kind of floored when I ask new agents if they're previewing property, or even agents that have been around for a while, if they're previewing property, and they're like, "What are you talking about? I look at them online. Isn't that enough?" You got to get a feel, guys, because people, when they walk into the houses, they know if they love or don't love a house. You can't do that online. Pictures make things look better, or they make things look worse, right? In person is in person, and that's where the emotion comes in. So I highly, highly recommend you guys preview properties. Dress and smell professionally. I don't need to talk about that. I hope you guys are getting good stuff out of here. I'm going a lot faster than I normally do. All right, now we're gonna talk about find leads. This is what you came here for. I got here as fast as I could. In a couple of slides, I'm gonna give you the actual things to do. But we're gonna review first. So we talked about overwhelming exceptional experience. This is what people will remember you for, okay? They're not going to remember the price they paid for a house in 5 years. I promise you. I think 460, maybe 450, 475. I don't know. Honey, do you remember? No, I don't remember. But you remember how Clay got us that new roof? That was awesome. That's the stuff they remember. Okay. So the exceptional experience. We're talking about that. Earning their trust. Know what you're talking about. Do what you're going to say. Come from integrity. Right. That's like it's such basic stuff. And then now how to find leads. The first, second, and third, and fourth, and fifth thing you should do is to figure out who your advocates are. All right. Mom, dad, brother, sister, cousin, grandpa, grandma, like all those are like your givens, right? Hopefully those are your givens, right? That are of people that are going to be your advocates for business. Then you're going to have your best friends. And then you're going to have your best friends, and you're going to have your other friends, and you're going to have some people that you go to church with or play basketball with or dinner club with or whatever, right? You're going to have a group of people. You got them on your phone. They're in your favorite list. They're probably the last 30 people that you talk to. Put them in a list. Create a list. I don't care where. Graffiti it on the wall. Make an Excel spreadsheet. Whatever. These are your people. All right. Now I'm going to ask you something. When you put this list together, then you're going to go to social media, and you're going to pull the people that you like to talk to. All right. Or that you kind of think alike, right? Because you're going to call them and you're going to ask these people for business. So if and you're going to do an exercise. So like there's a rule out there. It's like you're the average of the top 5 people that you hang out with, right? So luckily I got these A+ players on the team. My top 5 are pretty amazing people, right? So who are your top 5? Think about that. When you're going through your list of people that you want to ask them for business, do you like them, right? If you don't like them, don't call them because they probably don't like you either, right? So, but they're people you're going to like, there's a lot to say here. So bear with me. So those are your list, and you need to like focus on creating a list of like 50 people. All right. When you run out of like your peeps, like, oh, those are my boys and my girls, whatever, brothers, sisters, like, and then you're going to go to, or who are my professional providers? Who do I spend money with annually? Doctor, dentist, orthodontist, pediatric person, daycare director, teacher. Like, you're going to make a list of all those people. You're going to fill them out. You're giving them your money. You can ask them for referrals. You can ask them for referrals. People want to see other people succeed, okay? People that are in business, people that are doing things, people involved in the community, they want to see other people succeed. If they like you, if they kind of like you, if they don't know any other real estate agents, they only know you that is the only real estate agent, they will refer you business. Like people, the guy that mows your yard, my mechanic, he's bought like 3 investment properties for me, right? They're 4, 5, I don't know, it's a few. But you got to make a list. And the reason this list is so important, guys, is because that's free. It's free. It's free. It's free. It's free. And you're coming from a spot of like where they already know you and they want to see you succeed. I promise you, these people want to see you succeed. You just have to ask them. You have to tell them that I kind of expect this from you, like at least once a year. Put me in touch with somebody you know that wants to buy or sell real estate. I'm not going to wear you out about this. We're still going to be able to talk how bad the Cowboys football team is. But I need to know that we can relate, and like I need to be able to ask you about business. And they're going to say, okay, your friends want you to succeed. I'm drilling on this because a lot of people don't like to call people that they know. Some people, they think that they're better off being in open houses, meeting new people and all that stuff. It's a great way to grow a business. You already have a book of business, guys and ladies and gentlemen. You already have your book of business. It is the people that you know. I don't care if they live somewhere else. Everybody's moving to Austin. Everybody knows somebody who's moving to Central Texas. You want me to keep going on that? So after you put your list together, all right, the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna call them. Don't email them. Don't text them. You're gonna call them, and you're gonna say something like this. This is a free script, and we have a bunch of these. Hey, this is Clay. As you know, I've been studying for my real estate license. And I passed my exam or about to pass your exam. Now, I'm not always going to call you about business, but every month or two, I'm going to ask you for referrals. You know, someone that wants to buy a house, sell a house, or invest in real estate. If you're good at it, you're going to say it just like I just said it there. Is that okay? Notice I didn't say, is that okay? Is that okay? Does anyone come to mind? Thank you. Always say thank you, even if they can't think of anybody. What happens is now they're thinking about, hey, I got to help my buddy or my friend, my girlfriend, whatever, like get some business. Someone's going to say real estate, like, oh, I know somebody who they can do this, right? So you stay at the top of the mind. It's like when you buy a new car or you want to buy a new car and you're driving along the road and then that's all you see everywhere you go, right? It's the same thing. Like you're in their mind. They're going to be thinking about real estate and you, real estate and you, real estate and you. How can I help them? And they're going to help you. It happens. I promise you. I bear witness to it almost every single day. These are, and again, I'll send this to you. Just so you know, the dots, I'm pointing up to my screen here. Those are, it's actually meant to signal, like that's a time to pause when you're talking about it because you're about to say something important, all right? You're about to drop a bomb on somebody. So this is, so anyways, and what's going to happen is that you're going to start getting referrals, right? It's going to happen. My pediatric orthodontist for my kids just sent us a great referral. We got them under contract in like 2 weeks and they're super excited. In this market, that's not easy to do because it's so competitive right now. They're super excited, but it's a referral because they knew we were going to take great care of them. We sold a bunch of houses for them before and they knew we were excellent at what we do and that we'd be a good match, right? This stuff works, man. And we're going to get into this in a little bit also. It's like the compound interest of what you do. If you do these activities every single day, and it doesn't have to be like 20 or 30 a day, just start small. Call 2 people a day, call a person a day, and just like practice your script. Call us at 8:30 and we'll let you practice your scripts with us, right? What you're going to say, how you're going to say it, and why it's important. These are like this right here, guys, is gold, gold, gold. I don't care if you sold makeup or gold bars, Bitcoin, whatever. You were going to have a database. You have a book of business in your phone and socially. Be careful a little bit about that. And just call them. And like, this is like, and that's how you get started. And that's how you get started in a big way in your first couple of years. All right. If you just sit around and wait for things to come in, or like I wait for my realtor.com lead to come in, or hopefully this guy shows up, hope somebody comes to my open house. While you're doing all that, be calling your book of business, your current book of business. You already have one. Here's the, and now if you've never done sales, I'm going to go off topic for a second. If you've never done sales before, like a lot of this is uncomfortable and I get it, but here's the deal. First of all, life is short. Second of all, is like you took a big, like you're making a huge bet on yourself by going and getting your real estate license. Those classes are not fun. I took mine like 25 years ago, so I hear they're not fun anymore, right? You're doing this math, you're having to remember like how many people are appointed to the thing and like, oh, who does the appointing? Like, what does it matter? But you're taking this and then you're studying like crazy. You're nervous as heck. You go to the federal, you go to the state, you pass, boom, you're done. Now what, right? You got to go find a broker. You want to talk to a team. You've been interviewing. You're trying to figure all this stuff out. The most important thing you could do other than narrow down your book of business is figure out what you want and what you expect for yourself, right? Once you've done that, then you've got to get busy getting uncomfortable and doing the things every single day that matter. And it's really simple. It's lead generation, it's lead follow-up, it's practice your scripts and dialogues and your presentations, it's make offers, set appointments, make offers, close deals. Like that's your job, all right? And if you're lucky, you can get on a team and you can specialize in like one or two or one of those things along the way and do really well, right? If your job is just like Leslie or super special senior buyer specialist, like her job is to meet buyers that are qualified, understand exactly what they want, and go find it. Close the deal. It's our job as a team to prop her up with, hey, here's your next qualified appointment. Here's your next qualified appointment. Here's your next qualified appointment. So she's just doing the thing that she loves, and we're doing the things that we love, right? I got off topic off of the off topic there. But you're taking a stand for yourself. So you're telling the world basically like, I'm going to real estate. I'm going to go make $1 billion. I'm going to help 1 million families in my lifetime. Like I'm going to do this, right? Most of you probably had some kind of thought that you're going to be like this really amazing person, real estate agent, and you totally can be. You have to, there's a trick though. Like you have to execute and do the things every single day or you're not going to get there, or it's going to take for freaking ever, right? And nobody has forever anymore. So putting your list of your friends together, right? And your people and asking that question, do it a couple times. The uncomfortable awkwardness totally evaporates. Next thing you know, you're texting them, hey, it's that time of the month again. Who do you know, right? I need to ask you this. Who are you thinking about me when you're talking about real estate, right? You start to get so comfortable with it that it's like, it's known. And the people know, like when you're calling Monday through Friday between 10 and 2, like they know you're calling for that. They're either going to, but even if they screen your call, they see your name, they're thinking real estate, mission accomplished, right? The people that you know. The people you don't know, you got to get them on the phone. That's for another time. How to find leads. All right, finally got here. Oh, almost. This is where, so I just talked about this a little bit, right? So know what you want, be intentional. And when I say know what you want, it's like, what do you want to specialize in? Do you want to just do duplexes? Do you want to just do farm and ranch? Do you want to just do waterfront? Do you just want to do 40 million plus? Like you got to know exactly what you want. And then you just got to focus specifically on that, right? You just think it, eat it, sleep it. That's what you should be doing. Whatever it is that your job is, whatever you decided your goal is, that is what you want. Be very intentional about the things that you do every single day to make sure they get you to that spot. It's not going to go perfect. It's going to be ugly, right? You're going to get off track. Things are going to happen or whatever. It's your job to get it back on course. Every single day, something like that's going to happen. It's your job to keep like when people take off, like a plane takes off from Dallas, goes to Houston, like they're making 1,000 adjustments just to get to Houston, right? But they get there. They know where they're going. And that's what the human body is powerful. Like you can do that. If you think about what you want, think about it when you're a kid. Like you knew how to do it. You just wore your parents out until you finally got your Legos. It's the same thing. You just wear the universe out about what you want and you're going to get there. Put a value on your time. And what I mean by this is that there's going to be people out there that really want to waste your time. And the best way to find out who's going to waste your time is to ask a lot of questions. A couple times a week, we practice as a script at 8:30 at our stand-up. We practice what all the questions are that we need to be asking to find out people's motivation, if they're full of it, if they're real, where they're really going. Is that achievable, right? Can you make that happen? I've never heard ever in my life, have I ever heard somebody from California is going to give me $1 million for my $200,000 mobile home ever, right? When people say that, you're just like, all right, that's not going to happen. And then, you know, if you want to spend time on that or not. By the way, you will hear that. You will hear that a lot. Maybe not mobile homes, but the people from California part. So you want to make sure you value your time and don't let people waste your time. In the beginning, it's hard because you just want to believe everybody wants to buy and sell houses and all that stuff. And if you pre-qualify people, if you know what questions to ask and you make sure that they have an expected outcome that's achievable and you can get them there, then go for it, man. Otherwise, wait. Just wait, because somebody else, if that person's not realistic, I promise you there's somebody right around the corner that's going to come in and give you like a worthwhile project, okay? Keep it simple and follow up with everybody. The devil, like the money is made in follow-up, all right? And like Leslie and Kayla and Ryan and Stephanie on my team, they're all nodding their head because we call people constantly, that whole over-communicate thing, right? Twice in 25 years, someone said I've over-communicated with them too much. So you're not going to over-communicate people. Call them. There are some people that call people like 3 or 4 times a day till they get them on the phone, right? It's a little much, but that's sometimes what it takes. All right, the big reveal. How to find leads. Your sphere of influence. That's number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right. Your current book of business is your life. You should make that your life. Gary Keller and Josh Team, president, CEO, and owner of Keller Williams, just said in front of 40,000 people online, your business, I don't care how big or small it is, your database, the people that you talk to on a regular basis, that is what you need to be focused on right now, right? That has never changed in at least the 25 years I've been in the business. Who is your database? And when you really start to boil it down is you get some momentum. And if you get momentum, keep hustling, because momentum is a fantastic thing. It's like getting on a heater in blackjack, right? You just roll with it. What you're going to find is there's probably like 3 or 4 or 5 people in your world that give you the bulk of your business. And you already talk to them a whole bunch anyways, but be a little bit more intentional in some of the conversations and say, look, I'm in real estate now. I need your help. Who do you know? Who do you know? What do you think I should do? Who do you know that I should know? Right? Who can you introduce me to? All right. I'll stop wearing you out on that. Open houses, second best thing to do to get business. What's great about open houses is that you have buyers and sellers who are out looking, thinking about real estate, and they're interviewing agents. They're not telling you they're interviewing agents, but they're interviewing you as soon as they meet you. And that's where that earn the trust thing comes in. Okay. I think open houses are great. That's how I got my business started. And I've got like stories upon stories about how, after even like following up 7 years later, about what that can turn into. It's amazing. Even now, right? So now you meet people at the front door. I always did that, but now you have to do that, right? You want to squirt their hands and make sure they got all the PPE and all the stuff on, right? And they're walking through and they're signing out, signing in. You got them on security cam. You got to remind people nowadays that everybody's watching and listening to everything that you say, which is true. It's creepy. It's true. But open houses are great because these are buyers and sellers are interviewing you. So what's important about knowing that sellers are interviewing you too is that you want to do a lot of flags and directionals and things like that, like you're promoting the property for sale. Okay, you're going the extra distance to make sure everybody knows your property is for sale. And there's a bunch of things. I think we have like this 18-step thing for open houses. I don't know how many steps. It's a bunch. Poor Leslie has to get out early in the morning and set directionals and signs up and do all kinds of stuff for open houses. But we want them to be successful. It's your time that you're spending on them. They might as well be wildly successful, right? Right. Okay. One of the, there's people out there that are like amazing at networking. I don't know how y'all do it. It's like scares me. Like gives me the hives thinking about just going out and talking to random people, networking without like an environment that you're in control of, you know what I mean? So, but people are really good at that. There's some people that network at a high level. And again, that's a referral game business. That's a way to do it. Team leads is another one. How we do it, I mean, on a team, like you're leveraging each other, right? We were talking about that. Leslie or Josh, who's not here, like they get leads, pre-qualified leads, they go out, they close the deal and they go on the next one, right? And they serve at a really high level, right? Because that's our DNA. And then for the team, it's like, we get to do these things, spend this money, massage, create these systems, do all these things, and put a well-qualified buyer or seller right in their lap to get going, right? So you're leveraging each other. Leslie expects this. If we don't provide it for her, she's not going to get paid. She's not going to eat. She's going to be pretty grumpy with us. If she's not closing our deals that we're propping up for us, we're going to be pretty grumpy with her, right? So you have conversations about that all the time. We do a top 5 exercise, like, who are your top 5 clients? Who are the next 5 people that are going to write? Or who do we need to be paying special attention to as a team, right? Paid online leads. This is the easiest thing to do because you just got to throw some money at it. Conversion ratios are really low. Zillow, Realtor.com, Facebook, all that stuff. Everybody does them. I don't recommend doing them. They're expensive. I mean, there's teams out there that spend like 30 grand a month on online leads, right? Or more, $100,000 a month, $1 million a year. It's really competitive. Wall Street's in on it. Like, everybody's in on it. I would not, if your game plan, unless you just got like some mad cash you're willing to light a match to in the beginning, if your game plan is to do paid online leads, I'd really think twice about it. It's really competitive. We've been doing them for a long time, and our conversion ratios are better than a national average. They're still not that great. Referrals, repeat, things like that, open houses, even like that. That's where it's at for real estate. Do not overcomplicate your life, please. Mailings and farming. This is like, if you're in a neighborhood, you love it, you've been there forever, everybody knows you, you want to stay there forever. You start like, you start sponsoring community events, you start doing mailings. It's a long play, generally. It's a long play, long game. So you're going to be there for 12 months before you start to reap the rewards. However, in the grand, that's also your database too, right? Because you're kind of friends with your neighbors. Most of you should be. We are mostly. But it's a way to like kind of plus what you're already doing through sphere of influence. And people will do like parades and 4th of July flags and like all kinds of stuff. We do kind of do a citywide joy drive, and well, that's not what this is about today. And then another thing is like for sale by owners and expires. This one used to be really popular with the do not call list and robocalling, and like how sensitive people are to those kind of things. I'd be really careful about that unless you're willing to knock on their door. But these are generally, I can't really think of any other, like, these are generally like your lead generation funnels, if you will. Your sphere of influence is your number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 thing by far. Okay, we're getting close to the end, so we can do some questions here in a minute. Hopefully we have some. The power of handwritten note. I have some stories about handwritten notes. We used to, and I'm going to tell you one because we got some time. In East Austin, we just closed on a piece of property, and we used to send these handwritten notes that said, hey, we just closed on this. If you know of anybody who wants to buy or sell, let us know. We got a call from a guy, an architect here in town, and he said, you know what? I get letters all the time. Yours was handwritten. I opened yours. It was nice. I just listened to a thing Gary Keller did, so that was like a double whammy. Why don't you come over and let me show you what I got? It was 7 houses on 2 lots, right? I had a buyer for it, a builder. We closed on it, paid an insane amount of money. We redid all the houses. We sold them for an even more insane amount of money. And like that was 7 times plus 1. So it was 8 transactions. It was like $200,000 of income on one 50-cent handwritten note. Okay. So we write a lot of handwritten notes. As many as we have, but we will again soon, shortly. Actually, guys, we should probably get on that. And the reason is because everybody knows the universe like rewards gratitude and doing like a little bit extra, right? Everyone's sending these mass form letters. Go to your mailbox. You know what you're getting from people. A handwritten note. You can't wait to open it up, even if you don't know who it's from. But you can tell someone put some thought and some effort into it, right? It's a great way to get in front of somebody. We send letters specifically to different like buyers and sellers. If we have a buyer looking for something specific, we'll identify who the sellers are. We send them handwritten notes. Hey, I got a buyer looking for something like looks like what you might have. Please call me. People respond to that stuff. Even if it's to tell you no, at least you're having a conversation with somebody who owns something, right? So this was something, actually Stephanie came up with this. Closing is a natural result of doing what you need to do every single day. So if you want to do like 30 transactions in a year, what are the activities you need to do every single day to get to 30 transactions, right? What's great about real estate, residential real estate specifically, is that like the success, there's thousands of agents, like a million agents, there's like 2 million agents or something like that. But there's like 1,000 agents that are like wildly successful, making all kinds of money, like having major contributions in their community, doing all these wonderful things, right? Providing like this amazing experience for their family, creating all kinds of wealth, right? And they didn't do any, like, there's no secret to what they did. It's a model, all right? So if you want to do 30 homes a year, what's the model that you need to implement in order to do that? And there's a model for each of these things. For if you just want to do open houses, if you just want to do networking, if you want to do team leads, if you want to do online leads, if you want to do mailings and farmings, there's models for all that stuff. If you pick it, you just plug it in and you do it. And you got to do it every single day, or at least 5 days a week. You're allowed a day off. 6th day, you're usually with people, right? And what happens to that stuff that you do every single day? Warren Buffett said that compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. Compound interest, like for most of us, is what we do every day. How much we love our children, how much we love our wife, how much we go to church, how much we go to whatever our routine is, how much we like feed our bodies mentally and physically, and the exercise that we do. That's your compound interest to like happiness in life, right? So if you do all these things every single day that you know will improve your life because everybody's told you that have done it before, read some books, right? That your compound interest, like your quality of life, not that we have bad qualities of life, but it improves. And Tony Robbins says, like, the goal of this constant and never-ending improvement, like this journey, is to have better problems, okay? When you start to get better problems, life is so much more fun. I didn't really, like, it's just started to happen to me, but I was a ding dong for a while. So I'm still a ding dong, but really bad back then. The problems that you have, they're annoying, but like, okay, well, at least I'm not like whatevering I was 10, 15 years ago, you know, things get better. And that's like the whole journey of this. That's what makes it all worthwhile. I hope that weird story made sense. Okay, we're wrapping up. I hope that you guys are getting a lot of information out of this. It's a lot. And like I was saying earlier, like, it's so much that like, it's really hard to go deep in just like an hour or two of like talking with you about it. But I do want to let you know, we are available if you want to have a further conversation about tone or script, or like, why are you so crazy about creating your sphere of influence versus these other things, right? If you want to have a debate about it, we're happy to do that. We're not going to like wear you out about our team. We're not pushy people. So again, this goal is to make you just more informed and better real estate agents, because we know we're going to run into you and do a business deal with you. And if, like, you say, hey, I was on your, one of your webinars or something like that, I'm like, oh, awesome. I know we're going to have a good transaction, right? That's the whole point of this stuff. So the next one, we're going to talk about creating forever clients. And that's like, we have a map, right? We have a map of every time we ask for referral, what happens and all that stuff. Is basically talking about what that system looks like. If you're into that kind of back office organization, or if you're wanting to know when the right time is to ask for referral, what's the cue, what's the clue? We're going to talk about that. And it won't just be me talking next time, just so you know. And then the third one is the contract to close. And again, it's all about like creating that overwhelming, like extraordinary experience for people. They're going to make them want to come back to you over and over and over again. You think about a person, if you meet a first-time home buyer and they stay in the local area, they're going to buy and sell a house like 5 times. That's 10 transactions that you're going to be a part of. Then they're going to refer somebody to you every year. And maybe like half of those buy something, right? So that's 10 transactions plus whatever the referrals are over the life. We'll just call it 10 referrals. And then those 10 referrals give you 10 referrals. Like if you do the math and you actually sit down and you think about it, like a person to you is worth at least $1 million if you do it right and you pay attention. I'm not kidding. Like, that's why we're so, that's why we take care of our people, and they know that we're going to take care of them. So anyways, we're going to teach you all the things that we do to make that successful for us. And it's a big thank you. That's it. Y'all, we did that in like half the time we were supposed to, because I got talking so fast. Again, we're hiring. I'm not going to talk about that anymore. If you want to visit with one of us, just click on there and schedule a time, and we'd love to talk with you. So that guy right there is Josh on the left. He couldn't be with us today. We're going to insert Ryan and Leslie over here because we've been COVIDed and haven't seen anybody in forever. But I'm going to open it up to questions. Hopefully there are some. I don't know how to do it from my end though. I need to quit sharing.
I just have a question. You just go to that website if we wish to speak to you further.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. And then you'll just click on a link. It says like, I think it says talk to Kayla or something like that, or schedule your time.
Okay. That was a great presentation. Thank you.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate that. I was nervous.
No.
Now I gotta remember to look at the camera. Anybody have any questions? I mean, tell me more. Like, you know, you got an hour if you want it. So if you have any questions about what you should do, where you are, what some crazy things, I mean, we're open. We're totally available for y'all.
Well, yesterday I spent all day contacting my people that I know, and I'm getting like responses all day today.
Yeah.
You know, so I was really excited about that.
Yeah, people if you're a good person, like literally, and they know that you're going to work and you're going to operate with integrity, people want you to be successful. They will pour referrals down your throat if you ask them to. I mean, just straight up. And if you don't know anybody, you're just new to Austin, like everybody's moving to Austin, right? So like, your people back in Wisconsin or wherever you're from, like they're going to know somebody moving to Austin, and it just takes one person, right? We got plugged into Google. We got plugged into Tesla finally, just from like one referral from somebody. And it just happens, you know somebody. So that's terrific. I'm glad you're already making those calls, because I'm telling you, that will rocket ship you. Like your pipeline is just going to explode from doing that. And I'm telling you guys, if you want practice on the script, like we will totally help you.
What are some questions that you ask clients to see if they're going to actually follow through with purchasing a home?
Hey, Leslie, you want to answer that one?
Yeah. So what do you mean by if they're going to follow through with purchasing a home?
Well, when we were earlier in the presentation, we were talking about how some people will waste your time and might just be looking around for homes, but are actually not going to follow through with purchasing a home from you, or just in general. So I was just seeing what kind of questions you could ask so you can help determine if they are going to follow through with purchasing a home.
Right. So that it comes down to motivation, right? Where they're at and what their motivation truly is. So figuring out and dialing down into where they're actually coming from and why. Is it legitimate, right? Or do they actually have motivation to move forward? Because if the motivation is really there, that's something that you're able to utilize the entire step of the process. Well, remember, your kids are all moving out of the house and you have 4,000 square feet. You don't want to continue doing this. This is not something. So that's all motivation.
Yeah. And it's always, and everything's always motivation. Like, so you want to ask them like, well, why are you moving? Where do you want to move? What are you looking for? Bedrooms up, bedrooms down, pool. And you're going to start putting together clues, because everybody knows, like nowadays, generally they have an idea of value, right? So they're going to say, well, we want to, you know, 4-bedroom house, but we want to be on Lake Austin for $1 million. You're like, man, you're like 20 years late, right? So, but you get an idea, like if they're telling you the truth or not, or they're like, hey, we want to be in Circle C and we only can afford 500,000. You're like, well, we probably need to look at some other options, because right now anything that comes up in Circle C for 450 gets like 30 offers on it, right? So, then you're like, so what's important about Circle C, right? Leslie, I mean, you want to ask them, like, why do you want to do that? What's important to you about that? If they have real answers, generally they're a real buyer or seller, right? What's making you move to Austin, or why are you like, you're getting away from crazy Seattle or something like that, right? So, but that's the thing, like, and people will drop clues too. Like, well, what does that mean? Right? Does that sound real? Does that sound fake? Like, what is it? What do you mean you like inherited money? Like every time I've heard somebody say that, it's never true.
Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about that? That's like our favorite question.
Yeah.
Just
that mean
let people, ask the question, ask a question, and listen, and more questions will come to mind.
Thank you. That was really helpful.
Yeah.
And you'll notice if they're hesitant to answer any of your questions, that's a huge red flag too. Then you know, okay, this person isn't serious because they won't answer the simple question of whether or not they still have a mortgage, or just various things that are super important to a real estate transaction. So you'll get that red flag too.
Yeah, thanks, Kayla. And another, like, there's a process to buying a house. that's like time tested, proven, works every time.
Mhm.
Go get pre-qualified for a mortgage so you know what your budget is and go buy a house. When people push back on the mortgage part, that's a clue, right? On getting pre-qualified. And that you should, that I would dive into that like as fast as humanly possible. Well, why don't you want to don't you want to know what your budget is? Well, I know, like, yeah, but do you really know? You know, when you start arguing about that stuff, it's not gonna be a pleasant relationship. It's not a good relationship. There's a process. There's a process to selling your house. There's a process to buying your house. You know, and another thing, like the mentality of a buyer is totally different than a mentality of a seller. Generally, a buyer is really happy, or they're excited, or they're nervous, or anxious, or whatever. Most of the time, sellers are going through a change in their life that may not be pleasant, right? It might be like they're getting divorced, like they lost their job, they're getting relocated, they don't want to move. A few people are in the move, but so that's where like asking the questions, why that's important is because you want to like mirror and match their enthusiasm and or the professionalism that's required to address that, right? So if it's like, oh, really, you want to go buy this house? Awesome, let's go. Look, I know this, I know that. Let's go. Like I can help, whatever. Like you can get a little crazy with that, right? Sellers, you're like, I understand. We need to like, you're turning this house is now an asset. We need to make it sell for as much as possible, as quickly as we can, right? Without spending a fortune, right? Does that make sense, right? So it's like they need somebody that can take charge, right?
Exactly.
And a buyer generally wants somebody who can appreciate like the excitement and enthusiasm they have about doing this. Is that mostly right, Leslie? Are you still feeling that?
I would absolutely say that is probably Clay's personality and my personality. I am very happy and excited I'm very happy and excited to help you like move forward in your life and you know all of that. And he is definitely the more like serious and to the point. And you know this is a major change for them, and we got to figure out how to help them. So, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I've got a quick question here. Firstly, I appreciate your very people-based approach to the business. One of my concerns heading into it was that it was very much like a lot of other sales-focused industries where I don't know, I see a lot of scummy behavior, and that is like the number one thing that I want to avoid. But
it's alive and well in real estate too.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Yeah. But sort of moving into that, when it comes to prospecting, you know, I'm not wanting to get in anybody's way or be that guy calling them either too early, too late, whatever it may be, interrupting something in the day. Generally, when it comes to something particularly door knocking, just as an example, what's going to be the best time of day to be hitting someone in a receptive mood? Maybe is it earlier in the day? Maybe right at midday, in the evening? You know.
Yeah, you know what, Mark? That's a good question. There's not like 100% answer to that, right? The answer to like prospecting is when you call, when you try to reach people, it's when they answer the phone. So like, or when they're home. So like they're home in the morning, they're home in the evening, right? And in Texas, nobody wants to be out at 3 o'clock in the afternoon anyways, right? But the door knocking thing, here's what's funny about Austin is like very few people do it because of the weather. And if I were younger and more motivated or whatever, and I was like, I got to go make a couple $100,000 because mom's got cancer or like whatever it is, I would do it with door knocking and open houses because you'll get business just like that. And I promise you, like there are people in some of the masterminds that we do like that do just door knocking, and they do it for like 2 hours a day, and then they go follow up and do their stuff, and then they go. Like they're making a killing, and that stuff is free, except you're gonna leave a little item of value on the door or something like that. But people get used to seeing you on the streets, knocking on doors and checking on stuff. When Mega Camp goes on, back when we used to meet downtown, the people that do the door knocking. It's so ingrained in like their DNA. They'll go into neighborhoods and door knock and just say, "Hey, I'm just a real estate. Like I work in like Colorado or whatever it is. This is what we do. If you're thinking about buying or selling, here's my buddy in Austin. They'll go do it for you. Like it's hilarious. They like these people. It's just their thing. But whatever. So that's the long-winded answer to like whatever your thing is. You just call them until they answer, or you knock on their door until they answer, or you do it so much. Like door knocking is cool because you can leave something on the door, like a helpful hint or like a rebate or incentive or something, not a rebate, but something like that, like a compelling reason to call you, free home valuation. But you leave that on their door, then like it's like just free marketing. You're not paying for postal service. You're putting in the grunt work. People see you sweating through every hole you got, like, you know, while you're walking down the street. And a lot of people really appreciate that. I don't think you specifically had a question about it, but I mean, you can spend things that like, where you can, like it's, if you just do the one thing, like just do it hard and heavy. And you're not going to get it right every time. Like someone's going to chase you off with a broom, you know, but you're going to get it right. I mean, we've door knocked in the past. We did some weird experiments with that, but we've gotten business out of it.
I appreciate the answer. Thank you.
Yeah. You know, there's not 100% answer to all this stuff. You just do things and try them out, see what fits for you.
Clay, we have a question from Maggie in the chat box. Can you speak further on team leverage for lead generation, and what does that model look like?
Yeah, great question. Team leverage. So the thing about teams is because of the way technology is, and now like people like me just want to create like an atmosphere where like Leslie and Kayla and Ryan and Stephanie and Josh and whomever else wants to join the team, like they can have these amazing careers. So now the challenge for me is like, hey, I want to go like create all these funnels for these leads to come in. And I want to train people on how to set appointments, and or I want to build leaders that know how to train people to set appointments, right? So you like create these quote unquote departments on a team. Everybody's really different. Like what's great about real estate is like, you're really like, you're affecting people's lives. Like you're having a major impact at a major point in their life, right? Some people like to do that by showing houses and being excited about showing the houses. Some people like to do that by being excited about like, hey, I got these people to answer all these questions. They're ready to meet you. They're great. You're going to love them. Like setting the appointment, like calling through people. Some people are addicted to just like getting on a dialer and calling through 250 people a day to talk to people that are scrubbed against the do not call list, in case anybody's listening. You know, and some people like they like to just be behind the computer and like make sure things are flowing and tracking like they're supposed to be tracking. And then like when the ding comes up, that's a referral, and we make the call, we do all that. And you know, people like me are just addicted to like seeing how the whole thing works, right? So when you get on a team, what's great about it, if you get on the right kind of a team, is like you go through like their boot camp, their pipeline accelerators, what we call it. And like you're in there, you're prospecting, you're like, man, you're like infantry on the front lines. Everyone's got to do it because you got to know what that role is so you can appreciate it and be empathetic to the day. If you advance out of the ranks or you move into a different department, but it allows you to see like what's going on in the transaction, what the consumer feels, what the buyer agent feels, what the ISA feels, what the ops people feel, what the marketing, what the concierge people feel, what Ramon feels, you know, what Clay feels. It allows you to feel these things so you can experience different parts of it, and you can figure out like where you're going to shine. So when you get on a team, you know, you might figure out you come in here to do one thing, but you really love doing this other thing. Well, there's an opportunity for you to be in it. And now you're doing the thing that you love all the time, and you're still in real estate. Okay. So that's the precursor to the leverage part. So like for Leslie, like Stephanie, Clay, Ryan, Kayla, like we all work toward, and Leslie helps too, right? And so we all work towards providing this, like, here's a pre-qualified buyer. Here's a referral I just got. They're going to be amazing. You're going to get along so great with them. They're pre-qualified, finding the best deal, give them all the information so they can make an informed decision. Like, we're going to disclose everything. We're going to tell them everything we can, and you're going to go close it, and you're going to get paid. She doesn't have to worry about transaction management. She doesn't have to worry about marketing. She doesn't have to worry about like setting the appointment, getting them pre-qualified, like any of that stuff. All she's got to do is say, and she doesn't even have to worry about like building their trust when she meets them. Like, we've already taken care of that for them, right? She's got to show up. I'm Leslie. I understand we're going to do this. Let's sit and talk, get to know each other a little bit, and boom, we're gone. Right? So that's leverage. Leslie gets to do the thing that she really loves to do. We get to do the thing that we really love to do. And then the money is balanced. I think it's balanced. And the, like, okay, so our, we had a buyer agent, first 12 months of selling was like $90,000, right? Net to her. She didn't have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
Y'all hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what team leverage is. We were happy. She was happy. Well, we were mostly happy. So that's what leveraging a team is. Like, you find a team that will get in, like, and you believe they're like, shit, basically like when they're like propping this up to you and they have a track record of doing it, you get to go in and you get to focus on the thing that you really love to do. And if you think it's showing houses and selling people, or if you think it's listing houses, sitting in the living room and winning the deal, sign, boom, turn it over to the office, done, right? Move on to the next one. You're getting compensated for that and doing it at a high level, right? And that's what the team thing is all about. It's finding like, it's like, we call them savages, right? So we want people that have like amazing hearts. They're good people. They work hard, and that we can coach them and train them, and they can train and coach us. And like, we just like being around each other, right? And all those other attributes are part of it. God, I forgot what I was going to say, but man, that was going to be good too. Damn. I was really feeling it. I have no idea what I was saying.
So leveraging just basically is that I can lean in on them and expect that they're going to produce for me, and vice versa, right? So I also am held to a very high standard to make sure that that transaction continues to flow so that everybody gets paid for the transaction. So we leverage each other in order to make sure that all of this cohesively works for everyone. We want a happy transaction, a good deal for everybody all the way around.
Yeah. And we're a team too. So, I mean, we're picking each other up and helping each other out and pitching in. I mean, it's a group effort. I mean, but man, I'm telling you, it's fun. I mean, I think it's fun.
Yeah.
It is fun. It's a lot
Yeah,
of fun.
man, I was really like, I was zeroing in on something really great to say there and gone. That's what I get.
So what type of advertising? Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that's payback for the bad comment on the Cowboys earlier.
Yeah.
Amen. Amen. I was offended by that.
I'm a Cowboys guy too, man.
I almost fell out of my chair.
Not gonna lie, they did not do so well last weekend, but maybe they'll redeem themselves.
Oh man, they got it too good up there. So sorry, what were you gonna? Oh, we lost him.
Right. So what type of advertisement does the company run? And how is the advertising budget for a home listed for sales calculated?
There's a great book called The Millionaire Real Estate Agent that Gary Keller wrote with Jay Papasan. It explains the models like to a T. And we follow it. We have, it's like and it varies on what like your income level is, right? Boom, there it is. And it varies on what your income level is, right? So like at the level we're at, we're only spending like 7.3% on lead generating and listing maintenance. We're about to make another push. So it's our expenses, our marketing expenses are about to go up again. Yeah, man, there is like, if you're like any kind of finances, guys, anything, like you have to lead with revenue. Do not start spending money right out of the chute. You have got to make money first before you start to spend it. Because this is another thing that we practice on our team. It's like what to do with the money that you're making, right? I preach and I preach and I preach because I've learned this from like extraordinary failings. You got to set money aside for taxes. You got to set money aside for your paying your bills, and you got to set money aside for fun and investments, right? Because we're not in this to live like these like complacent, okay lives. Like I'm after extraordinary lives, and we want people on the team that want to live extraordinary lives too. So we talk about, and in order to think about that, you've got to be thinking about what are you going to do for wealth? What are you doing for your investment properties? Making sure you got your taxes paid. When you make 200 grand a year, you're going to have like a $60,000 tax bill, right? And that's not a fun thing to do, like to scratch at the end of the year if you're not prepared for it. So we talk about this constantly. Pay your bills. These are the ratios. These are not Clay's made up numbers. These are time to proven models passed down to us by like thousands of super successful people, right? And so, but you can't do it unless you're making money. And then you can start worrying about what to spend on those things. So sorry. And it's not like, I'm not trying to attack you on that question because it's a question we get all the time. Do your database first. Figure out if you just have one person, go be that person's number one real estate resource, right? Figure out whatever it is that they want. And then it'll turn to 2 and you've doubled your database, right? So that, and then think about like spending the money. But I will tell you, like you're going to want to run an ad in a newsletter or something like that. You just like go give that money to Central Texas Food Bank instead. and then go tell people that you did that. That's a better way to spend the money than it is just to waste it on one ad. There's a difference between marketing and branding. Marketing, man, I'm going way down a rabbit hole. Marketing is something that has like a call to action on it that makes people want to call you right then. Okay. Branding is like something we're about to start doing, which makes me a little uncomfortable. But branding is like Coca-Cola ads, right? They don't make you like, they don't say go buy a Coke now and save 5 cents, right? They're like, hey, it's Coke. We're polar bears. We like this stuff, right? And you're like, oh God, that sounds great. I'm gonna go have a Coke, maybe, right? I mean, there's a difference. Marketing is like call to action, buy this house, come see me, come to my open house. Thank you for being amazing. It's like reasons for people to think specifically about you when it's real estate time. And keep it simple, man. Just do your database. Don't waste ads, time, money on social ads. Like just focus on your database, send them letters, send them thank you notes, and then it's your time, your investment in time. Just do those things.
All right, sweet, got it covered.
Yeah, sorry, I got a little preachy. Those are great questions, y'all. Thank you for being interactive. This is fun. Anybody else? 35 more minutes, 34 more minutes. Anybody?
A little follow-up, sure.
Sure.
When you were discussing market knowledge, getting familiar with an area, you mentioned an HEB down the street, the schools in the area, that kind of stuff. Definitely really good to know, because your clients may be, requiring those things when they move to that area. But what are some other things that you might look for in that area that you need to have knowledge of?
Yeah, I mean, so there's like the things that always come up that you can't really talk about are like crime and like, you have to be careful about saying, hey, these are really good schools. These are really well-rated schools, right? There's HEB, there's things that like, I'm sure the traffic's not like, if somebody says, I'm sure, that's a clue to like check into what they're saying. But like, you want to just think about like a lifestyle of a person. Parks, there's trails over here, the lake's right over there. HEB is a big deal in Central Texas because people get so addicted to them. Like where they're in or where they're going in, right? They're highways, roads, guys. I don't know, Leslie, what are some other things? Community pools. But you have to ask them like what's important to you. Right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like finding out, do they have children? Are they bringing their parents with them? Like what are they dealing with? And it does make it very easy just kind of from having that initial conversation with them to be able to drive, a 5-block radius and say like, this is what I saw when I drove through here. This morning, I was showing a property and showed up an hour and a half early, and there were people walking strollers everywhere. And this is a family that is looking to have a lot of children. That is their goal. And so that was a huge part of our conversation this morning. Whenever I pulled in here, there were people walking everywhere. There were strollers everywhere. There were kids running up and down the sidewalk at 7:30 this morning. Like you'll see it when you know who these people are. But yes, obviously like grocery stores, hike and bike trails, swimming pools, like the outdoor activities that people are going to be just drawn to naturally.
Yeah.
And you know what, asking people about what they're interested in to be able to sort of gauge what you need to be looking for, that's great on 2 levels, because then you've actually developed a genuine connection with them and had a conversation about the things that they enjoy. So
right.
That's effective on a few different levels there.
Right.
And then they feel like they're the number one person that you're thinking about at the time, right? Everybody just wants, like, you make somebody feel like they're heard and they're important, done. Like, you got them. Like, yeah. And that's super critical, Mark. So Mark, we saw your name and I thought you were like our mover. Because we have our mover, like we love this guy, Mark. His name is Mark Huff. And I saw you, I was like, oh, that's not Mark.
Another Mark Huff, man. I haven't met one of those in Austin yet, but maybe I'll get to meet him.
He's a little bit older, a little bit less hair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But thanks for asking those questions.
Thank you for your answers. Yeah. Looking forward to it. I actually scheduled a time to talk, but I think it was Kayla.
Yeah,
coming up next week. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, we have, and just so you guys know, if like everybody's spider sense feels good with each other, like the process, like we do a real deep, like heavy get to know you, because we've made, you know, some mistakes in hiring for like on both sides of the deal. So we want to make sure we get to know everybody really well. So just so y'all know, and it's fun because you learn a lot about yourself, because like the big why is like, isn't that the question we're all wondering? Like, what the hell am I doing all this for? Right? Don't you guys, like, do you ever think about that? I think about it all the time. Like, what's all this about? Right? What's life like? And like, there's never an answer to that, but you got to know like kind of which way you're drifting in this journey. So you know what you're going to like and not like, and like how you're going to react in situations and things like that. Anyways, we help you explore that a little bit. All right, you guys have been amazing. If you don't, I'm gonna let you go eat your spaghetti if we're done.
Thank you guys so much for joining. Made our hearts happy to see y'all.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank y'all very much, y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you.